Okay, so now we want to talk about how to graph an ellipse centered at the origin. And then you're usually going to want to know the center, the vertices, the co-vertices, and the foci. Okay, so if it's centered at the origin, well then the center's at the origin, right? And so the center would be 0, 0. And then what you're going to do, you're going to have this equation. I'm going to do a pancake-shaped one here. Our example is the egg shape, but I'll do a pancake one here. Then you'll figure out what A is, and then that distance is going to be, whatever. That distance is going to be A, and you're going to go to each side of, I can't draw the bracket the other way. Then you're going to do it on each side, okay? So they're supposed to be even. And then you're just going to go B and B. So you're going to go B up and B down, whatever that number is. And then you just try to draw the best ellipse you can. Try to not make it look like a football. Okay, and we just do our best. Okay, so the vertices, remember, those are going to be based on A, and the co-vertices are going to be based on B. Now, usually when they just give you an equation, then you have to figure out what C is. So you'll need the fact that C squared equals A squared minus B squared. But then you can graph them if they want them graphed, or if they just want to know what C is. Okay, so that's kind of a little bit of a review of what we've been doing now. Here we're going to put it into practicality. Okay, so we're given an equation in standard form. It is centered at the origin, and we know that because there's no H or K up here. So H and K are 0. So we'll go ahead and graph the center. Because they want us to identify and label the center, vertices, co-vertices, and foci. Okay, identify and label. So I'm assuming they want us to graph all those things. Okay, so we're going to take the 25. That means A squared is 25. And it means we're going to have this kind of an ellipse. Now, I would do that right at the beginning. Know if you're making a pancake or an egg, because that'll make it easier for you when you go to draw. So A equals 5. That means I'm going to go up 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And down 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we're talking from the center, okay? And then my B squared, I'm not sure how many colors I want to use here. B squared is equal to 9. And so B is 3. So I'm going to count 3 to the left and 3 to the right. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And then I'm going to try to draw as good an ellipse as I can. And not too bad for me. That's a fairly good ellipse for me. Okay, so you just do your best. That's the best we can do on these. Okay. So now it says identify and label the center. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to say center, 0, 0. And maybe we just have to draw an arrow. Center. Because it says to label them, so I'm not sure the best way to do that. The vertices, oops, it moved on me. Okay, so the vertices are going to be here and here. So we could say vertex and vertex. And we can just read these are integers. We can just read them off the graph. So it's going to be 0, 5. Well, let's go 0, negative 5. Put the negative one first. And I usually put an and symbol in there. 0, 5. Those are going to be the vertices. They want the co-vertices. And so the co-vertices are going to be here and here. Co-vertex and co-vertex. I don't really like labeling them. It makes my graph all messy. I can hardly read it. But that's going to be negative 3, 0. Again, you could read these points just off the graph. 3, 0. So we got, let's see, the center done, the vertices, the co-vertices, the foci. Well, to do the foci, we have to figure out what C is. So C squared is equal to A squared minus B squared. Or in this case, C squared equals 25 minus 16. C squared, no, it wasn't 16, it was 9. I'm ahead of myself here. Thinking about the last problem, I guess. C squared equals 16, though. Okay, so C is equal to plus or minus 4. So that means that I need to go up 4 and down 4. A lot of times those are not integers, by the way. They're square roots, and you'd have to approximate them, but this one worked out. So that is going to be a focus there, and then another focus here. And they probably want them written as points. So the foci are 0, -4, and 0, 4. You might be asking, oh, could I just use the plus or minus like they do in the book? Yeah, I don't care about that. I just write them separately out of habit, I think. Okay, so we've identified and labeled everything, kind of messy. We drew the graph. So I'm interested in you being able to draw the graph and be able to identify these things. Okay?